Now I'm sure of one thing at least. I want my daughter back.
You may remember her sharp tongue and perfect poise as the iconic Miss Brooks, or perhaps the sassy Principal McGee from Grease. Eve Arden lit up every screen she touched, but when the curtain fell, her departure was nearly silent, leaving behind whispers, half-answered questions, and a life richer than most ever knew. What happened behind her final smile, and what became of her quietly kept fortune? Stay with us as we unfold the private chapters of Eve Arden, the laughter, the loss, and the legacy she never spoke about. Born Eunice Mary Quedens in Mill Valley, California, 1908, Eve's early life wasn't the golden dream we often imagine. Her father, a gambling addict, abandoned the family, and her mother, a hat shop clerk, raised her alone. Theirs was a household of discipline, not comfort. Young Eve was sent to a convent school. Though she wasn't Catholic, she found solace not in prayer, but in performance. By 16, she'd left traditional schooling and joined a stock theater company, carving her escape through scripts and stage lights. She didn't run from hardship. She recited it, transformed it, and owned it. Eve's breakthrough came in Stage Door, 1937, holding her own alongside Katharine Hepburn and Ginger Rogers. Her dry wit and impeccable timing made her the go-to best friend in dozens of classic films. In Mildred Pierce, she earned an Oscar nomination for playing Joan Crawford's sharp confidant. But it was our Miss Brooks that turned her into a household name. First on radio, then on TV, her portrayal of a clever, sardonic teacher made her an American favorite, especially among women who saw their own wit mirrored in her. And just when some thought her era had passed, she reappeared in the 1970s as Principal McGee in Grease, charming a whole new generation. No matter the decade, Eve Arden remained timeless, a woman of class, command, and comedic genius. Behind the smile and sparkling eyes, Eve carried her share of heartache. Her first marriage, brief and hushed, faded without fanfare. It was her second union with actor Brooks West that brought some calm. They shared the screen and the stage and stayed together until his death in 1984. Still, whispers lingered about her earlier years, most notably her long-rumored affair with Danny Kaye. Though never confirmed, friends noted their deep connection and late-night calls. Some said it was passion never given a name. Eve became a mother not through biology, but through fierce devotion. She adopted 4 children, balancing motherhood with the rigors of Hollywood. She cooked, she drove, she attended parent-teacher meetings, all while filming during the day and performing at night. Her home was warm but structured, her laughter generous, yet rarely revealing. Those who knew her best say she loved deeply, but feared being abandoned again. The hurt from her father's disappearance never fully left. In a world that saw her as invincible, Eve Arden lived quietly searching for the kind of love that stayed, even after the applause. It was November 1990. In a quiet Beverly Hills home, far from the stages and cameras that once adored her, Eve Arden took her final breath. No public vigil, no memorial gala, no studio tribute. The woman who once made America laugh through heartbreaks, wars, and social change slipped away almost unnoticed. And in that silence, a question lingered. How could a star so radiant leave the world in such shadow? In her final years, Eve had retreated almost completely from public life. Once the sharpest voice on stage and screen, she now lived behind drawn curtains, her health fading from heart disease and the quiet ache of age. Friends noticed the distance. Phone calls went unanswered. Invitations were politely declined. Some believed she simply wanted rest. Others whispered of emotional pain, unspoken wounds from early abandonment, from loss, from years of pretending everything was fine. Her longtime staff recalled how she grew more guarded. One aide confided, she kept everything close, even pain, especially pain. Visitors became rare. Even her children saw her less often. Rumors surfaced of caretaking disputes, tensions over her living arrangements, and disagreements over medical decisions. When she passed, the announcement came through a brief line in the newspaper. No interviews, no public ceremony, no red carpet remembrance. Then came the whispers. Had her will been altered? Were there 2 versions? What happened to the handwritten letters she'd been collecting? Her memoir mentioned a final reflection she'd promised to finish, but if it existed, it was never found. Some close friends spoke of a last note, a page left on her writing desk, allegedly about love, loss, and the fear of dying alone. That note vanished the day after she died. She had made millions laugh, taught generations of women to be clever, proud, and unapologetically sharp. Yet in death, she asked for no recognition, and perhaps feared what might be revealed. Eve Arden didn't just step out of the spotlight. She disappeared into the quiet. And in that quiet, her mystery remains. On paper, Eve Arden's career should have made her a millionaire several times over. With decades of film, radio, TV, and stage work, plus royalties and publishing income, her estate was expected to be substantial. But when it came time to settle her affairs, there was confusion. Properties had been sold years prior. Jewelry collections were missing. Her memoir had brought in modest returns, but not enough to account for her fame. The bulk of her wealth? Scattered, unclear. Her adopted children received portions of the estate, but court filings showed disagreements. One claimed the original will had been altered. Another believed there was a trust not properly recorded. And then there were her personal archives, scripts with handwritten notes, letters from stars like Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, and hundreds of unseen photos. Some items ended up in museums, others vanished into private collections. Some say her handwritten final letter, supposedly a reflection on love and regret, was removed from her desk the day after she died. But what she left behind wasn't just mystery, it was dignity, grace, and the quiet legacy of a woman who never needed a spotlight to shine. She carried it within.
Fame comes and goes, but heart and history remain. These stars left more than performances. They left meaning. Subscribe, like, and share to remember them with us.